counterterrorism official says that two former Guantanamo Bay prisoners are among the leaders of al-Qaeda's branch in the Arabian Peninsula, the same group that is now claiming responsibility for the attempted terror attack. I want to bring in our CNN senior international correspondent, Nick Robertson, to help explain some of this. Some of these prisoners were released under the Bush administration, and they are supposed to undergo some sort of rehabilitation, I understand. Do we know what happened with these two?
Specifically with these two, we don't know the details of what happened. Typically, prisoners who've been released back to Saudi Arabia go through a rehab program in Saudi Arabia. That rehab program basically gives them a religious re-education. It tries to sort of unpick their radicalism by saying, okay, you've been told a wrong version of Islam, this is the right version, and it gives them sort of therapy, social counseling, as well as this sort of religious counseling. But ultimately, the person is given back to the tribe or the family, and the tribe or the family has to make a guarantee to the government they'll make sure this person doesn't transgress and run off with al-Qaeda again. The government gives inducements, sometimes jobs, sometimes cars, sometimes helps arrange marriages for these people as well. But where it falls down is some of these people run away, and the place they run away to get out of Saudi Arabia without triggering questions at a regular border is across the border to Yemen, because there's al-Qaeda across the border, and it's a very, very porous border. So that's how they escape, and it may be that these men fall into that category. Specifically, not sure.
Do we know if there's anybody in the Yemen government who's actually following up on this and trying to find out where these people are after they've undergone their rehabilitation, or if they've managed to escape? And is there any follow-up here from the Yemen government?
Well, the idea is that they stay within the sort of confines of their tribe or their family, and the family and tribe has a responsibility and duty, and one can't sort of underestimate it in the cultures there in Yemen and in Saudi Arabia how important those bonds and ties are, because it can lead to a very sort of collective punitive punishment for a large number of people if that person transgresses. So that's the sort of bond that exists. How realistically can the government there actually follow up, and how much authority does it have in some of those areas where people are going back to? It would seem not a lot. So their ability to actually follow up and control what they've put in place doesn't seem to be very strong at all.
Do we know how successful at all this rehabilitation program is? You brought up a lot of different ideas and things that they actually have them do, but do we know if they're successful?
You know, the Saudis believe they have a significant success rate. They admit that no system is ever perfect, and it's something that continues to need to be under sort of scrutiny and changed and adjusted as time goes along. But they feel that overall they've had a very good success rate. And their analysis is that unless you try and deal with these people at an ideological level, and some of them you're never ever going to change their minds, but unless you deal with them at an ideological level, throwing them in jail is ultimately going to be counterproductive, and it's better for the country as a whole, even if some of them then transgress and get away. Suzanne.
Nick, thank you very much. I want to follow up as well.